Welcome to Flashback to a Fabulous Future with Cheryl Johnson. Over the next hour, you'll learn how the past influences the future and how you can create a fabulous future for yourself. Now, here's Cheryl.
Welcome to Flashback to a Fabulous Future. We are on a journey to understand the past so that we can move forward into the future with focus and energy. Today, we will be unraveling the threads of conflict. We'll begin with World War I and then move into more modern warfare. Welcome to this special episode of Flashback to a Fabulous Future. Today, we embark on a journey through time to explore the interconnectedness of major historical events, specifically World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. As we delve into the past, we'll uncover the common threads that bind these conflicts and examine how the lessons learned still resonate in modern warfare. So let's explore the seeds of discord that initiated World War I. The early 20th century witnessed the rapid ascent of technological progress. Yet beneath this veneer of advancement simmered the undercurrents of conflict. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and Hungary in 1914 served as the spark that ignited the powder keg of tensions, triggering World War I. But this war was no mere isolated event. It was a culmination of intricate alliances, militarism, and a fervent embrace of nationalism. The war's scale and brutality were unprecedented, showcasing new tools of destruction like poison gas, tanks, and aerial warfare. The trenches scarred the landscapes of Europe, becoming haunting symbols of the grim realities of warfare. As the conflict raged on, it became clear that old strategies were insufficient against the new breed of warfare. The war's aftermath saw the Treaty of Versailles, a document intended to prevent future conflicts by imposing heavy penalties on Germany. However, in its wake, instead of fostering lasting peace, the treaty bred resentment and economic instability within Germany. This environment of desperation created the perfect breeding ground for extremist ideologies to flourish. Amidst this backdrop, Adolf Hitler rose to power, capitalizing on the German people's discontent and thirst for a return to national glory. His expansionist ambitions were fueled by a quest for what is termed Lebensraum, or living space, and an insidious vision of an Aryan supremacy. The annexation of Austria and the dismemberment of Czechoslovakia showcased his aggressive intentions, yet the international response was largely complacent. The lessons of World War I were tragically forgotten. The appeasement policies adopted by Western democracies in the face of Hitler's aggressions only emboldened his ambitions. By the time the world realized the extent of his intentions, it was already too late. The invasion of Poland in 1939 marked the beginning of a conflict that would engulf the globe and forever redefine the course of history. The legacy of World War I is a poignant reminder of the far-reaching consequences of unaddressed grievances, unchecked nationalism, and the failure of diplomacy. As we reflect on the cataclysmic events of that era, we are reminded that history is a living testament to the power of human decisions, for better or worse. The echoes of World War I and World War II reverberate through the annals of time, serving as a stark reminder that the past is not just a distant memory, but a guiding compass for our future actions. Now we'll move into the shadow of desolation and World War II. The devastation of World War I did not quell humanity's appetite for conflict. Instead, it laid the groundwork for an even more destructive global conflagration, World War II. The interwar years were marked by economic turmoil, political instability, and unresolved grievances, creating the fertile ground upon which the seeds of aggression took root. Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime, having risen to power on the wings of disillusionment, swept across Europe with shocking speed. The Blitzkrieg tactics, blending fast-moving mechanized forces with air support, rendered traditional defense strategies obsolete. Poland, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands fell in rapid succession, leaving Britain standing alone against the Nazi onslaught. The horrors of the Holocaust and the systemic genocide of 6 million Jews underscored the depths of human depravity. The extermination camps and concentration camps became grim symbols of the price of unchecked hatred and bigotry. World War II witnessed not only new levels of destruction on the battlefield, but also the unparalleled horrors of the Holocaust and the use of atomic weapons, leaving lasting scars on the collective human psyche. The aftermath of World War II was a world irrevocably altered. The ravages of the conflict had laid bare the consequences of appeasement and the dangers of unchecked aggression. The war's end marked the beginning of a new geopolitical struggle, the Cold War, as the United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers. This ideological battle further divided the world into two opposing spheres of influence, with nations often serving as pawns in the global chess game. The lessons of World War II, though harrowing, were essential in shaping the modern world's approach to diplomacy and conflict resolution. The establishment of international organizations like the United Nations aimed to provide a platform for dialogue and cooperation, hoping to prevent future cataclysms. The Nuremberg trials, where Nazi leaders were held accountable for their actions, set a precedent for prosecuting war crimes and crimes against humanity. As we examine the annals of history, the echoes of World War II resonate in contemporary conflicts and international relations. The advent of nuclear weapons changed the calculus of warfare, introducing the concept of mutually assured destruction that continues to shape global politics. The horrors of genocide serve as a stark reminder of the dire consequences of hatred and intolerance. In today's world, where tensions persist and new challenges emerge, the lessons of World War II remain profoundly relevant. The importance of diplomacy, the pursuit of lasting peace, and the commitment to preventing the reoccurrence of such devastation stand as pillars upon which we can construct a more secure and harmonious future. The legacy of World War II is one that compels us to continually strive for a world where dialogue triumphs over aggression, where cooperation overshadows conflict, and where the horrors of the past serve as a solemn reminder of the responsibility we bear to create a better world for generations to come. Now let's look at a divided peninsula and the Korean War. The Korean War epitomized the global tensions of the Cold War. The division of Korea after World War II, with the North backed by the Soviet Union and the South by the United States, culminated in a brutal conflict. This war highlighted the strategies of containment and the notion of proxy wars, where superpowers fought indirectly. Despite a ceasefire, the Korean Peninsula remains divided, a poignant reminder of the lasting consequences of ideological battles. Amidst the turbulent post-World War II landscape, the Korean Peninsula became the stage for a conflict that would further underscore the complexities of international relations during the Cold War era. This conflict would serve as a microcosm of the broader ideological struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union. The division of Korea at the end of World War II, with the 38th parallel serving as the demarcation line between the Communist North, supported by the Soviet Union, and the Democratic South, backed by the United States, created a power keg of tension. In June of 1950, North Korean forces under Kim Il-sung launched a surprise attack on South Korea, initiating a war that would profoundly impact the region. The Korean War showcased the tactics of proxy warfare, a phenomenon where superpowers engage in conflicts through surrogate states. The United States and its allies intervened on behalf of South Korea, while China and the Soviet Union supported the North. This dynamic turned the Korean Peninsula into a testing ground for the strategies of containment and deterrence, with both sides avoiding direct confrontation to prevent escalation into a global conflict. The war saw a seesaw of success and setbacks, with no side achieving a clear victory. The devastation wrought upon the peninsula was immense, and the armistice signed in 1953 left the nation divided along similar lines as before the conflict. The demilitarized zone that emerged along the 38th parallel remains a stark reminder of the lingering tensions that persist to this day. The Korean War's legacy is complex and multifaceted. It did not achieve a decisive victory. It highlighted the challenge of navigating conflicts within the confines of Cold War politics. It also brought to the forefront the ethical dilemmas of modern warfare, with issues such as civilian casualties and the use of napalm fueling global debates. Beyond its immediate impact, the Korean War underscored the dangers of nuclear brinkmanship. The conflict prompted the United States to maintain a significant military presence in the region, a practice that continues to this day. North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons has added another layer of complexity to the situation, with global powers working to prevent the proliferation of these weapons while avoiding escalation. As we reflect on the Korean War's legacy, the Korean Peninsula stands as a poignant reminder of the price of unresolved conflicts and the delicate balance of power that governs international relations. The lessons learned from the Korean War continue to influence modern strategies of diplomacy, containment, and the pursuit of stability in a world characterized by complex geopolitical interactions.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Sometimes you need to look back to look forward. History is prologue. Has there ever been a time where history did not repeat itself, for better or for worse? Listen to Flashback to a Fabulous Future, where we will explore ancient history, modern history, and personal history to see how we can use history to motivate and inspire you to create a fabulous future for yourself. The fifth principle of cooperative management is all about education. We rely on education, particularly historical education, to empower you. Flashback to a Fabulous Future with Cheryl Johnson. Weekly episodes available on demand on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Enjoying our shows and can't get enough of us? Follow us on Instagram at Voice America Talk Radio and see what we're cooking up for you.
Welcome back to Flashback to a Fabulous Future. Hopefully you are learning the tools you need to build a fabulous future for yourself. Now let's get back to the show with Cheryl.
Now we will move on to the jungles of Vietnam. The echoes of history reverberated through the jungles of Southeast Asia where the Vietnam War unfolded, challenging the very essence of warfare and geopolitical strategies. This conflict, rooted in the struggle for independence and ideological supremacy, served as a poignant reminder that the lessons of the past often echo through the corridors of power, influencing decisions with far-reaching consequences. The Vietnam War emerged from the ashes of colonialism. The struggle for Vietnamese independence from French rule was followed by a bitter division, with the United States backing the South and the Soviet Union supporting the North. What ensued was a brutal conflict that had defied conventional warfare and redefined the limits of human endurance. The Vietnam War brought guerrilla warfare to the forefront, a stark departure from the traditional battlefields of previous conflicts. The Viet Cong's use of unconventional tactics, ambushes, and the intricate network of tunnels known as the Chu Chi tunnels exemplified the challenges faced by the American forces. The application of massive firepower by the U.S., including the use of Agent Orange and napalm, generated global outrage and led to a profound rethinking of military ethics. The war also marked the rise of the anti-war movement, with protests spanning the globe. The shocking images of civilian casualties and the displacement of millions ignited a moral outcry, leading to a reckoning with the true human cost of warfare. As the conflict dragged on, public sentiment turned against the war, forcing the United States to withdraw its forces in 1973. The fall of Saigon in 1975 marked the end of the Vietnam War, but its impact was far-reaching. The division between North and South had not only disrupted the lives of millions, but had also torn at the fabric of global politics. The scars of the war left deep wounds, both physically and emotionally, that would take decades to heal. The Vietnam War's legacy is a reminder of the pitfalls of unchecked interventionism and the consequences of viewing conflicts through an ideological lens. The failure to understand the cultural and historical context of Vietnam led to a miscalculation of the war's feasibility and outcome. This conflict showcased the limitations of military power in the face of determined guerrilla forces, underlining the importance of adapting strategies to the unique challenges of each conflict. In the modern era, the lessons of Vietnam continue to resonate. The recognition of the moral and ethical dimensions of warfare, the importance of understanding local contexts, and the imperative of considering the long-term consequences of military actions are essential pillars of contemporary conflict management. The echoes of Vietnam serve as a constant reminder that history is not just a collection of past events, but a living tapestry that shapes our present choices and informs our future trajectories. What echoes in the present can be lessons for today? As we navigate the landscape of modern conflicts, the lessons gleaned from the annals of history, particularly from World War I and World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, continue to hold profound relevance. The evolution of warfare, the shifting sands of international relations, and the challenges of resolving conflicts in an increasingly interconnected world all bear the indelible imprints of the past. The 1990s witnessed a series of relatively short-lived conflicts epitomized by the Gulf War. Triggered by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, the Gulf War demonstrated a concerted international response against aggression. The UN-backed coalition swiftly expelled Iraqi forces from Kuwait, showcasing a coordinated approach to deterring blatant breaches of international law. The subsequent Iraq War, however, underscored the complexities of intervening in sovereign states. Launched in 2003 under the premise of eliminating weapons of mass destruction and promoting democracy, the war turned into a protracted conflict with significant human and geopolitical costs. The Iraq War highlighted the importance of thoroughly assessing the motivations and potential consequences of military actions and the need for a robust post-conflict strategy. The conflict in Ukraine, along with the annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014, resonates with the historical echoes of territorial ambitions and power struggles. This crisis underscores the challenges of navigating the murky waters of hybrid warfare, where conventional and unconventional tactics blur the lines between war and peace. The Ukraine conflict also highlights the difficulty of responding to such crises, especially when dealing with nuclear-armed adversaries. In these modern conflicts, the approach to resolution is often multifaceted. Diplomacy, sanctions, and international pressure play a crucial role, echoing the lessons learned from past conflicts. The importance of international cooperation and alliances remains central to preventing aggression and resolving disputes peacefully. Yet the complexities of the modern world demand new strategies. Cyber warfare, economic coercion, and disinformation campaigns are now integral elements of conflict, reshaping the way nations approach conflicts and diplomacy. The rise of non-state actors, like terrorist organizations, further complicates the landscape, necessitating a dynamic and adaptive approach to security. The lessons from history emphasize the ethical dimensions of warfare and the importance of civilian protection. The adoption of international humanitarian law, as evidenced by the Geneva Convention, reflects a commitment to minimizing suffering of civilians and combatants alike. the recognition of war crimes and the prosecution of those responsible, as seen in the establishment of the International Criminal Court, demonstrate a collective determination to hold individuals accountable for egregious actions. As we contemplate the complex realities of modern warfare, the echoes of the past remind us that the pursuit of peace requires constant vigilance, diplomacy, and the collective will to prevent the mistake of history from recurring. The lessons learned from the World Wars, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War guide us in striking a delicate balance between the use of force and the imperative of preserving human dignity. By drawing from the wisdom of history, we forge a path towards a more peaceful and secure future where conflicts are resolved through dialogue, cooperation, and the indomitable spirit of human resilience. Although war was a prominent element of the 20th century, the United States saw unprecedented economic factors. Although there have been depressions throughout history, the 1930s saw unprecedented economic failures. This brought about many adaptations to the way our country was governed. The New Deal helped pull some out of their economic situations, but also contributed to a continuous rise in the welfare state, and along with it, the need for higher taxes on both individuals and corporations. We also saw the seeds of the various military-industrial complex, which has set the stage for the pharmaceutical complex and the social media complex, which will be explored in future podcasts. One vital lesson sticks in my mind. Progress has a price, and it is the little guy who pays the price, while the rich and powerful gain more and more riches and power. This will also be demonstrated in future episodes. As we conclude this episode, we are reminded that the past is not confined to textbooks. It echoes in the decisions we make today. The interconnectedness of World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War reminds us that history is a tapestry woven with the threads of human choices. So let us strive to weave a future marked by cooperation, understanding, and a commitment to avoiding the mistakes of the past. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey back through time on Flashback to a Fabulous Future. We look forward to seeing you in future episodes.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Flashback to a Fabulous Future. We hope today has helped you understand how the past influences the future and created the present. Until we talk again, have a beautiful week.